So this week is our final week of carbohydrates, and I think it's important for us to look at how to compare nutrition facts labels specifically for carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are very important in nutrition. Remember, they provide us with the majority of the energy we get throughout the day. And so when you are making carbohydrate choices, it's important to look at nutrition facts labels and keep the amounts in mind. So when you are making good carbohydrate choices, and remember good I'm saying in quotes because it can be a little bit of an opinion question, okay? A little bit of like, what are you aiming for? But if we're looking for total health, basically what we want to do is we want to maximize fiber. We can keep total carbohydrates in mind because they tell us a little bit about the starch content, which starch, as you might notice, is not on a nutrition facts label. And then finally, added sugars we want to minimize. Okay, you want to minimize the added sugars. You're supposed to get 25 grams of added sugar in a day maximum, and many of us get this without even trying, just because of like how much sugar is in all of our foods, even places we don't expect it. So we're also going to look at serving size, because serving size is basically it's a way for some companies to skirt the rules and cheat a little bit. For example, let's look at our first one, Lucky Charms. Lucky Charms' serving size is 1 cup. Crispix serving size is 1 1/3 cup, and Cheerios is 1 1/2 cup. The largest serving of all three of these is the Cheerios, then the Crispix, and then the smallest serving size is Lucky Charms. And I'm going to let you think about why that would be. Why would they have a small serving size for Lucky Charms? As we go through these numbers, you'll probably figure it out. But there's a reason they're keeping their serving size so low. Now, of the three of these, I have to admit Crispix is my favorite, but after doing this study, actually, in preparation for today's class, I realized that there's probably a better choice for me. So I'm learning something as well. I have all three of these cereals like right next to me because they're my favorite snacks. And let's go to looking at these three nutrition facts labels and comparing. Lucky Charms, dietary fiber is 2. Total sugars is 12. Guys, 12 grams of sugar in 1 cup of this cereal. Just like think about that for a second. It's probably all those little delightful rainbows. And the added sugars, of course, none of those sugars are natural. All of those are added. So you have 12 grams of added sugars and 30 grams total of carbohydrates. If we wanted to find the grams of starch of this, we could take the sugars plus the fiber, that's 14, and then subtract the 14 from the 30, which gives us 16. So there's 16 grams of starch in here per serving. Okay, now let's look at the Crispix nutrition facts label. We're going to avoid the ones where it tells us the milk. We're only going to look at the cereal itself. There are 34 grams of carbohydrates. Dietary fiber for Crispix is 0. 0 grams, guys. That's actually not so great. As much as I love Crispix and as much as I just, adore them for snacking, they're all corn and rice. And remember in my last lecture, I said corn and rice are mostly starch. So, unfortunately, there's no fiber in Crispix. Total sugars is 5. So 5 is still kind of high, but it's not as bad as the Lucky Charms. Lucky Charms was 12 grams of added sugar. That's excessive. So if I were making the choice between Lucky Charms and Crispix, I would choose Crispix because I could get fiber somewhere else, but this amount of sugar is way more than I'm willing to eat in one snack. Remember, 25 per day is all we get, and this is 12 grams. So, I mean, eating a serving of these would be like eating half of my total allotment of sugar per day. And that's just not okay with me. So I would choose the Crispix still because they have less sugar per serving. And their servings are higher, so I get more for them. Now let's look at Cheerios. Cheerios has 29 grams of carbohydrates, 4 grams of fiber, 2 grams of sugar. So fiber outnumbers Crispix and Lucky Charms. Sugars are significantly lower than either of those two. It's less than half of the total sugars of Crispix, and I mean it's like way lower than the Lucky Charms. So if I were sitting down to a snack and I needed to snack on something, I would choose Cheerios, because Cheerios gives me less sugar, gives me more fiber, and frankly, a bigger serving size. 1.5 cups is the largest serving size we have, so I would actually get more volume of cereal, and that would be more satisfying for me. So you see how, and we're just looking at carbohydrates here. If we looked at protein, if we were on like a diet where we knew we needed to maximize our protein, 3 grams, 5. So Cheerios would still win that too. You might look, this is why you don't want to just look at calories, because according to calories, Cheerios and Lucky Charms are the same, 140, 140. But remember, food isn't only for energy. Food is for the nutrients you get from that energy. And this energy here is all added sugar. This energy here is frankly a lot of starch. Let's look at the starch here. We have 29 grams total carbohydrates. The fiber is 4 grams. Sugar is 2, so that's 6 grams. Yeah, this is 23 grams of starch. And when you eat starch, it turns into sugar. So you're kind of getting sugar from Cheerios anyway. But I would say, you're going to get starch from any of these no matter what. Even Crispix, 34, 0, and 5. So yeah, 29. Crispix is 29 grams of starch, which again turns into sugar when you digest it. So, it all depends kind of what your goals are for your nutrition, but it shouldn't only be calories, because only focusing on calories can be misleading. Frankly, food is way more than calories, way more than calories. So aim for less added sugar, aim for maximizing your fiber, and frankly minimizing your starch a little bit, because starch is just sugar in a disguise. Okay, so that is the lecture for today. I encourage you to look at foods throughout your kitchen and compare and see what other choices you can make, what other good choices you can make. Have a great day, guys.